It's been a minute since I made my last planet management guide for Stellaris, and in that time, pretty much every single thing about it has changed. You've never had more control when deciding how you want to develop your planets, but that also means it's never been more overwhelming to know where to get started. So today, let's go through exactly how to get it done. And if you want to know how to get these videos with no ads, it's by becoming a channel member. All the same videos with none of the ads. Now, onto the planets. Obligatory what's the best way to manage an intergalactic empire, you planet joke out of the way. Whilst the layout of the planet management menu has changed substantially, how everything works is really much the same. In typical Paradox fashion, it really looks a lot more complicated than it is, so let's go through each aspect of this new menu to get acquainted. Obviously, you have the planet name, type, and governor, but you probably didn't need me to tell you that. Below this, you have a number of different planetary stats, and this is where you can find out exactly how the planet is doing. Stability is, surprisingly enough, how stable a planet's population are, and obviously the higher this is, the better. High stability can increase the production of all resources on that planet, as well as ensure the planet doesn't collapse into a revolt. You can keep stability high by ensuring there's plenty of housing and amenities. Population is pretty obvious. Crime is a contributor to low stability and becomes more common in larger populations. It can be reduced by ensuring your pops are happy, or by having plenty of law enforcement. Available housing is of course how much housing you have going spare. Generally, you want to keep at least a little bit of space at all times to ensure you don't end up with homelessness. Amenities is a general term for goods your pops require to be happy. These are produced from a number of jobs such as entertainers and medical workers, but as long as you have plenty, it's all good. High amenities means happier pops, which means high stability. And lastly, available jobs and unemployment are both pretty self-explanatory. Below this, you have the districts and buildings, and here's where most of the changes are. These days, your districts house your buildings rather than them being a slot all their own. Districts still work mostly the same, however. They offer basic jobs to produce basic goods like energy or minerals, and if you want more, you build more districts and ensure you have enough workers. Upon completing certain research or growing your planets enough, districts may build specializations. These are exactly what they're called. These allow you to specialize that district for a certain job, such as industry, research, or simply enhanced resource generation. Once one of these specializations has been built, you'll be able to build buildings in them to further empower your planets. Be aware that the buildings you have access to will depend on what specialization you choose, so make sure you have a clear goal in mind so you know what to pick. Buildings themselves are mostly the same as they ever were. They are super specialized for a single purpose and once staffed, allow you to produce anything from alloys to science to unity. Some buildings can have expensive upkeep, so always be on the lookout for that. And don't worry, I'll cover what buildings and specializations to build and where in a little bit. Next to this, you have the planet's production. From here, you can see everything that planet is producing or consuming, so it's a good place to see what you need to be built to keep you in the green. Over on the right, you have a summary of that planet, and the important bits are habitability and size. Habitability is how much of the planet is usable space. Low habitability results in heavy penalties for your planet, so it may not be worth colonizing if you can help it. Size is the maximum number of districts you can build on planet, so of course, the bigger, the better. Below this, you have decisions and terraforming. Decisions are actions you take on planets that can perform a vast number of actions. You can slow or speed growth, generate various kinds of resources, and alter planetary production. These are really to be taken on a planet-by-planet basis, so don't worry about this in your moment-to-moment gameplay. Terraforming allows you to change the type of planet into one that's preferable to your population. This increases habitability, allowing you to make better use of less optimal planets. And lastly, designations. From here, you can select a specialization for the planet. This adjusts the output of various jobs depending on the designation, so it's well worth giving each planet a focus to help you remember what to build and empower it. Technically, we have 4 other tabs on the planet menu, but to be quite honest, they are far less important, so let's do a speedrun. Management allows you to remove blockers, which frees up more space for districts. You can also see all species on that planet and each tier of worker. Economy shows you each tier of worker, their jobs and resource consumption, as well as production. You can also favorite certain jobs from here, and they will be filled with greater priority by your workers. Armies allow you to recruit land armies to invade hostile planets or defend your own, and holdings is only important in niche situations and is honestly beyond the scope of this video. 99% of the time, you'll be in the surface tab, so try not to worry too much about these, unless you need one of the niche uses that I've mentioned here. Okay, now the UI is out of the way, we can talk about how to build up your planets. How to build your planets, like most things in games like this, comes down to a big ol' it depends. There is 1,000,001 factors that go into deciding what to focus on each planet, but we're going to make things real simple. Firstly, you want to have a look at the district's potential on each planet. You might need tons of minerals, but there's no use making it a mining planet if you can only build 2 districts. Take a glance at the max for each kind of district and make a mental note of which focuses would work best. Early on, you are best investing in planets to increase your income for alloys, science, and unity. These 3 resources will propel your empire forward more than any others, So a good designation for a first new planet is either industrial or forge world, depending on if you need consumer goods, then tech or unification, depending on your needs. Alongside this, also make sure all your other resources are in the green, with the occasional agricultural, generator or mining world if you need them. Once you have a designation, deciding what to build is pretty straightforward, but knowing when to build it can be tricky. Technically, there is nothing stopping you from burning all your resources on planets as soon as they're colonized, but early on, you will hardly ever have the funds for this. Instead, I'd build mostly when you have either unemployment or homelessness. That way you are solving a problem rather than investing in a megalopolis that no one will live in for a few hundred years. So, following on from my initial recommendations, you colonize a high habitability planet, take a look and hark, it can do well as an alloy world with plenty of room for city districts. Next, I'd build specialization in your district. Not only will this kickstart production, it will give you more space for specialized buildings later. So mixed or heavy industry, depending on your empire, will do great. You may be wondering why not just build alloy foundries in the existing city district, and whilst you can do that, I prefer my method for a couple of reasons. First of all, it keeps things tidy and focused. And secondly, it leaves your regular city open for whatever you need, instead of having slots taken up by buildings that can go elsewhere. Specializations in other districts require more advanced technology and have more limited options, but the principle remains the same. Pick the option that works best for your goals and fill it with buildings useful to achieving that. Sadly, your goals is something you need to work out for yourself, but as long as you keep all of your resources as in the green as you can, alloys, research and unity won't steer you far wrong no matter what. And honestly, these steps are pretty much all you need to do over the course of a game. Figure out what you need, find a suitable place and build some production. As planets grow, you simply need to build more buildings or districts to keep them working, and in return your income climbs higher and higher. I will say that you don't 100% have to focus on a single thing on each planet. If you really need some food, it is okay to build an agricultural district on your ally world. It may not get the most optimal output with no designation bonuses, but it will get the job done if the situation is dire. Speaking of which, don't be afraid to use the economy tab to focus on a single job if you really want to maximize production as soon as possible. Ideally, all jobs will be filled out, but whilst you're waiting for your population to catch up, it can be a good way to ensure your high priority resources keep on coming. Now, if all of this really does sound too much for you and you'd rather sit back and let the universe do its thing, you might want to try automation. This is as simple as hitting the cog in the designation menu and enabling it from there. You can choose what automation is allowed to do, from clearing blockers to using advanced resources. This has always been a little bit hit and miss as the computer doesn't know your long-term plans, but if you are learning and want to put off planet management to the side for now, it can be a good choice to keep things simple. That said, I would highly recommend learning planet management sooner rather than later, as it can really allow you to play much more efficiently. But never let anyone shame you for toggling it on whenever you feel like it. And with that, you are ready to get out there and colonize every single planet you see. But what I want to know is, what planet type would you like to live on? Maybe you'd like to live underwater on an ocean world, or bake under the sun on a desert world. Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and if you want more Stellaris videos, then check out this one all about the new psionics system introduced in Shadows of the Shroud.